my channel. I am Tori Lynn. Let's blossom today. In today's video, I will be testing out the Colourpop Pretty Fresh collection. I will go over all the products I got, and I will use them along with you, give you my first impressions, how I felt about it, and what I thought. This is also the look I'll be creating with these products. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button before the video starts, and let's get into it. So I just got this package in the mail today. I am really excited to try all this stuff out, so I decided to film this today instead of the video I had planned. So, this is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Skin Collection. I don't know exactly what it's called, but so you open up the box and it's got this really pretty kind of lilac-y, lavendery purple, and then this really fun, real fun bubble wrap, and it is like well sealed in there. And then we've got, looks like a, oh that's cute, you're looking fabulous, and it says Colourpop on the back. I really like this picture. Like, I love the color. Very pretty, very fun, and this is really cute. And then you get, of course, your little packing slip, and then the 3 things that I ordered from the Pretty Fresh. So the first thing I got was the Pretty Fresh Prime Set Kit. It comes with the blending sponge, the hydrating hyaluronic primer, and then the hydrating hyaluronic setting mist. So let's go ahead and open up the box. I really love this nude peachy pink packaging that they give you, and it's got these cute little coconuts on the front that say made with coconut water and hyaluronic acid. So let's go ahead and open her up. So first thing in this little box is the beauty sponge. She's really soft and squishy. Like, I feel like you could just like wad her up in your hands. I really like how soft she is. And again, it's that same pretty light peachy nude color, kind of a blushy pink. And then let's pull out this is the hyaluronic acid setting mist, which is also, so the bottle is clear, but then the product itself is a milky peachy color. And then, let's see, the last thing in this box should be the primer, I believe. Yes, so then it's the primer, which is definitely a smaller container than the mist, but I'm sure you use a lot less of the primer. I don't know if the primer goes on with a little bit of tint or not, but we're gonna find that out. So it says that the primer, lightweight hydrating primer that refreshes and preps skin for makeup application, ideal for combo, dry, and normal skin types. And then the setting mist says a microfine refreshing setting mist that hydrates for healthy looking skin, ideal for all skin types. Right, and then I got, to go with it, the hyaluronic, why can't I say that word? Hyaluronic tinted moisturizer. This is also the Pretty Fresh, and I did order this online, so I kind of guessed at my skin, or the shade that I needed. Let's see what this says. This says a hydrated tinting moisturizer with skin perfecting lightweight coverage for fresh, healthy looking skin. It says prep your skin with the Pretty Fresh HA, which I'm assuming stands for hyaluronic acid, primer. Use Pretty Fresh blending sponge or fingertips to lightly dab and blend into skin. So I got the shade Fair 1N, which is a very, it was a pretty light shade. My skin is obviously pretty warm toned, so I went with a warm toned. They do kind of help you. You choose whether your skin is fair, light, medium, dark, and then you go decide whether your skin is cool, neutral, warm. My skin obviously has a lot of warm tones in it. I went with the fair, and then I went with I chose a neutral foundation. And then, and I do like the little pump. This is very similar bottle or packaging to the It Cosmetics CC cream, which I do love that foundation as well. I don't expect this to be a full coverage, which typically I am a full coverage girl, so we'll kind of see if this, if I like the looks of this more fresh look. And then the last thing I ordered was the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Cream Concealer. So I also don't expect this concealer to be very heavy duty. I don't expect it to compare to Shape Tape or anything like that. So let's see what it says. So it's a long wear, full coverage, creamy, oh it does say full coverage, creamy concealer infused with hydrating ingredients for a natural fresh finish. Prep under eye with favorite eye cream, apply concealer to cover blemishes and even out skin tone, and blend using fingertips, beauty sponge, or brush. And I got this in the shade Fair 20N. Open it up here, and so it's a really light shade. I'm hoping that this shade works okay. Like I said, I ordered both online. Actually, it's a very peachy, but it looks pretty good. I'd say it's a little more pink toned than my Shape Tape, but it's got a very thick consistency, and I feel like it's gonna be pretty good coverage. And wow, that actually blended in my hand really nicely. So alright, let's try this bad boy out. I do like my concealer to be a little bit brightening, that's why I went with a real light shade, but we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna start by prepping my skin with the primer. I'm just gonna take a few pumps. There we go. So this is an extremely, well not extremely, but pretty runny primer. I typically go for ones that are more pore filling, but this feels very liquidy. So I'm just gonna go. It smells really good. It really does smell like coconuts, which I am a huge coconut fan. I would live, eat, breathe coconuts if I could. I love everything coconut. So I felt like, I just do 2 pumps, maybe 3, I don't remember. And that covered my face pretty darn well. My face does kind of have a tacky texture to it. But as far as pore filling, I really don't know if it made a difference. So I'm guessing the setting mist you use after the foundation, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the foundation. Alright, and I am back with a wet sponge, so she's extra squishy. She probably doubled in size. So let me go ahead. I'm going to use, I think, this big, I'm going to use the big flat end, I guess, to do the foundation. And pump for days, apparently. Okay, there we go. So I took, I don't know, 3 or 4 pumps there. I feel like ever since I tried that NYX foundation, I have been a little more worried about not taking enough foundation. This sponge is so bouncy and squishy, and I don't really know that I love the flat end, but we're using her. So I probably could have gotten a shade a little bit lighter. It's hard to tell when it's wet. I don't know if it will oxidize down at all. I mean, it blends into the neck pretty well, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and finish blending this out, and we'll see how we feel about the color I got. Okay, so actually color is pretty good, I'd say. Obviously, like it said, this is a tinted moisturizer. This is not a full coverage foundation, so you can still see a lot of my redness in my skin, but it has definitely muted it down. So like, I'm not hating it. I mean, it's gonna be difficult, I feel like, for me to just get over that because I am a full coverage kind of girl. I think this would work great for no makeup days. You know, you're going out running errands, or you just want a little bit of light coverage to get you going. This would probably be a really nice foundation. Now, I do not know how it wears. It did say it was long wearing, I believe. Actually, the foundation does not say if it's long wearing like the primer and the concealer did. But, so it has kind of a natural look, finish to it, slightly glowy. It's definitely not matte. and the texture is still very, very tacky, so I feel like this is definitely foundation you would want to set. So now I'm going to go ahead and try out the concealer. This was again in the shade Fair 20 Neutral. We're going to see how this works, but I'm kind of curious, like, I have never used a non-full coverage foundation and then used a full coverage concealer over top, so I'm not really sure how this is going to blend out, if it's going to look wonky or if this is going to work out really well together. I don't know. We'll find out. I do feel like I have a little pimple going on my nose, so I'm going to add a little extra concealer up there. And then conceal the forehead, and I'm going to do the same to the chin because I got a few blemishes going on my chin right now. And I'm going to use the side of the beauty sponge. This sponge is so much softer than what I'm used to. I feel like I'm going with a really heavy hand, and then it leaves like rings, you know, splotches of the beauty sponge. So I'm like, I keep trying to remind myself, soft hands, you know, you don't need to use as much pressure as you do with your other sponges. But so it's definitely a lighter shade, I feel like. It's not a ton lighter, but it is a little bit brightening. And I do feel like it covered my dark circles pretty well. It is settling pretty heavy in that crease under the eye, but you know, that's something that we will fix when we set the concealer. So overall, I am happy with my color choices for both the foundation and the concealer. I do feel obviously in the summer or when I fake and bake, when I self tan, I will want to pick up a shade that is darker, probably in both the concealer and the primer, the foundation. I'm not hating it. It's definitely a very natural look. I don't feel like this is a look, like I said, that I typically go for, but we're trying it out. I do have some days where I have errands to run and I don't really want to do a full face of makeup, but I want something to kind of cover up. I don't love all the redness in my skin, so it'll be nice to have something I can toss on over my skin and set that looks very pretty natural. Since we're going with a more natural look today, I'm going to use my Coty Translucent Airspun Powder to bake. I have been loving my Anastasia, but it definitely gives you a lot stronger, starker look. I don't bake with a damp sponge very often, so this is definitely a lot different than my normal day-to-day look. I am still going to go ahead and set my nose creases and my smile lines just because I do have some other things I'm doing today. So I'm going to go ahead and toss on my brows on. Since this look is a more natural look, I'm going to be using my Trestique brow pencil. This is in the shade, it's in the shade Americano. I'm just going to go ahead and toss these bad boys on real quick. Alright, not my best brow day, but we're moving on. So for eyes today, I thought about making this an entire Colourpop face, but I have been using, I feel like, a lot of Colourpop eye looks lately because I've been using the Colourpop Midnight Masquerade palette. I'm gonna go back to one of my absolute favorite palettes. I got this in a BoxyCharm a few years ago, to be honest, I think, and I'm never sure how to pronounce it, if it's Sori, I don't know, Diaries, and it's from Pure Cosmetics. It's got really pretty neutrals. It's got some kind of dark purpley browns. It's got this pretty burnt orange and a lot of just pretty neutrals, and then this gorgeous row of shimmers. I'm gonna start with this light brown shade that I have clearly used a lot of. I've hit pan with, I believe it's called Gala, and I'm gonna work this shade into the crease. My absolute favorite shade in this palette is this kind of burnt orangey brown called Stunner. This is just, I use this shade a lot. This shade is what made this palette my favorite for so long. So I'm going to work that shade in the outer crease. And I'm going to bring her all the way into the center. And I'm going to work it down onto the lid some, but I'm going to leave just the center, just right around the lash line in the center, open a little bit. This is going to make things look brighter when we're done, a little bit larger because I have smaller eyes. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. Now I want to take the shade right next to it, which is kind of a purpley brown shade called Snazzy, and I'm going to be taking this a really small skinny angled brush, and I'm going to be working that shade along the lash line. Doing this, you will want to be careful about fallout. I find what works best to keep from getting too much fallout or getting too crazy is to coat your brush nicely, top off any excess, and then just press the brush up at the lash line. You don't need to drag, you don't need to dust around, you just press right at that lash line. Dragging will cause those bristles to bend and then flick product on to either your nose or your eye, you know, the under eye. By just pressing down, you'll get a nice coverage of that product. And you will get a lot thinner, cleaner line. So now once we have met out to the edge of the wow, if I could talk. Met to the edge of the lash line, take that same brush, and I'm just going to work it up into my outer crease, right in the outer V. Just a little bit, like maybe a third of the way into the eye. Just working it up that crease. This will give us just a little bit of depth without getting too crazy. And then I'm going to do the same to the other side. Just going to take a blending brush. And I'm going to blend that darker shadow that we laid down just to make things look a little smoother. We don't want to keep such harsh lines in there, I don't feel. Smokes it out a little bit, darkens things up. I want to leave the eyes alone now. I like to jump back into the face and set everything and get my skin finished up. So I'm going to stick with that Coty Translucent Airspun Powder. And I'm going to go ahead and dust away any of the excess baking. And set my skin. Just wanted to do a little kind of, just to let you guys know, the foundation is still pretty tacky where it has not been set yet. So I don't know that this foundation is one that really dries down a whole lot. I think because it's a tinted moisturizer, it probably is going to stay a little bit on the tacky side. But now that it's all set, it doesn't feel tacky. It feels nice and dry. I chose my NARS diffused bronzer today because this is more of a natural look. I didn't want to go with a real heavy bronzer, so I'm just going to take my Aesthetica P12 brush and bronzer up. I went ahead and contoured my nose. It's something that I just can't get away from. Like, I've been doing it for quite a while now, and I feel like when I don't do it, I hate how I look. Like, I don't know, I need it to complete the look. So I went ahead and did it anyways. Obviously, you don't have to, especially if you're going for a more natural look. And my favorite blush is the Laura Geller Baked Blush in the shade Tropic Hues. This has been one of my favorite blushes for a really long time. So when I'm doing something, trying something new, just, you know, going through and picking up a neutral blush or one that's really natural looking, this is usually the one I go for. I decided to stick a little bit with the Colourpop thing when I was choosing my highlight today, so I grabbed my highlight from Colourpop in the shade Flexitarian. And I'm going to stick with this shade for my inner corner highlight. I'm going to grab that brush that I used to do kind of a faux liner on the upper lash line, and I'm going to dip in that same dark purpley shade and work that right along the lower lash line, just kind of on the outer corner there. So, and then I think I'm just going to take the same brush and I'm just going to dip into that brown, to that orangey shade. And work it right over top of that shade. Bringing it in a little bit farther, a little closer to the inner corner. So let's go ahead and test out the setting spray now. Give it a few good, there we go, a few good pumps, get the juice that's flowing. Oh, and it smells like coconuts too, which I love. The foundation, I don't really know if it had a scent to it. And I don't really feel like the concealer did either, but the primer and the setting spray definitely do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray my face down. So this is definitely one of those products that you don't really feel like your face is getting covered with, but then you look and you're like, oh damn, I am wet. I am a slick right now. So go ahead and let that dry. While that's drying, I'm gonna go and pop on my lashes. To finish off the look, we're going to add some lips. This is the Galactic Beauty Matte Lip Paint in the shade Posh. This is kind of an orangey red lip color, and I think it's so pretty for the fall time. Honestly, it's kind of like a rusty nude color. I decided to add a little bit of the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Atta Girl over top, because I feel like a glossy lip looks a little more natural. This is the look. I actually really like the foundation once I got everything set and, you know, added some color to my face. I feel like, other than you can see a few of my pimples, you really can't see a ton of my blemishes. And it's actually really pretty good coverage, and I think that the colors I chose were perfect for me. I totally recommend trying this, especially if you're not a full coverage person. You'll probably love this. If you are a full coverage person like I am, I still really liked it. I think it looks really good in the end. Very natural skin, actually. I don't feel like I look like I've got just foundation on. Some foundations you look at and you just know, like, obviously I've got makeup on, but I feel like it just looks like a really nice enhanced version of my skin. So I absolutely recommend this. Obviously I haven't worn it all day, but so far just my first impressions are I recommend it. I say go out and try it. Go get matched if you can. The Ulta I went to, the reason I ordered it online, the Ulta I went to, the one that's closest to me, didn't have this product in stores yet, and maybe Ultas don't carry it, I don't know, but so I decided to order online because I had seen it on Instagram and Facebook and whatever. So anyways, it got me to buy it. I am happy with my purchase. I also really like the way this look came out. It's a really pretty fall look, so go ahead, click that subscribe button, and please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me if you guys would hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.